we were able to bring the Jews back home even with the COVID. Shalom.
Yes, Shalom. Your agency you're representing is the Jewish Agency for Israel, right? That's
Right.
quite impressive name, actually. Thank you for your time. Like I would just start going with the interview since I don't want to take too much of your time. So let's go on. As Israel and the South Korea actually has proclaimed its independence in 1948 from the previous Japanese occupation over 30 years, of course, with the help of United States of America and also UN. And of course, we all know the world history that Israel also proclaimed its independence, yeah, on 1948. We see the similarities and also, as you know, Koreans, over 30% of Koreans are, Bible-based Christians, and we do share a lot of faith and beliefs in common. And most Koreans overseas know some of your works, not all of your works. And the reason we're having this interview is to learn about your agency and your work and see what we could learn from your works to improve your missions and also, hopefully it's helpful for Christians and also the Koreans. Okay, just please be kind to briefly introduce the Jewish Agency for Israel for us.
Okay, thank you very much. Kamsamida in Korean. The Jewish Agency is the largest Jewish organization in the world. And it was started in 1929. And the main goal was to be an umbrella for all the Jews of the world. So every Jewish organization that exists in the diaspora, every synagogue, every school, you name it, belongs at that time to the Jewish Agency. And the goal was, as God ordered us or proclaim or promise, is to bring all the Jews back home. This is the reason the Jewish Agency was established, to build a home for the Jews. This was the beginning. After that, when the state was established, 1948, the head of the Jewish Agency at that time, the name is David Ben-Gurion. Some of you know the name.
Yes,
He was the head of the Jewish Agency, and from his chair, as the chairman of the Jewish Agency, he became the first prime minister of the new state of Israel.
Yes.
So now we have the Jewish Agency as home for the Jews in administration, and you have already a government body that is the government of the state of Israel. Then the government made a law that the Jewish Agency will work for the government, but as independent organization, and will be in charge of Aliyah. Aliyah is immigration, but in Hebrew it means to go up. Go up. You can say go up to God because Aliyah, it's the name of God. And you can say go up to God, you can say go up to Jerusalem. And the Jewish Agency became, the main role was, after the state of Israel, is to begin organize the Jews wherever they are, in all over the countries, and begin to organize them to come back, and also build for them a home in the state of Israel. Means to build roads, build the water system, train system, airline, and all that. Everything was done by the Jewish Agency at that time. with Jewish money from all over the world and some help from other countries.
Great. It's a long time, over 90 years of
Yes.
tenure.
Yes.
That's, I don't know if there are any other NGO group has that long tenure. I'm not sure. I need to do some little more study. That's a quite impressive. Okay, and what's your title and your role with the Jewish Agency right now? How long have you been working with?
I was first, before I came to the Jewish Agency, the last 6 years, I was Israeli consul in Southeast America. And before that, I was advisor to some ministers, government offices like Minister of Health, Ministry of Tourism, President House. So I was working in the government for many years.
Nice.
So this is like my last mission that I'm doing now as advisor to the Jewish Agency. Maybe not. We'll see.
Well, it looks like you have a long ways to go. Right. Yes. I mean, you were introduced, named you as a person, who we could learn actually more details about your agency. During the last 6 years, you've been working with the Jewish Agency, right? Okay. Is there any particular incident or accomplishment that you could share with us that is a personal you could remember? Any particular?
The most depends from which angle you look. The most impressive thing that is happening is the coming back of the Jews from Ethiopia, which are coming by thousands. And this is the work that is done by the government and by the Jewish Agency. Just last 2 months, Israel and the Jewish Agency brought more than 2,000 Jews, black Jews from Ethiopia.
Wow.
That our rabbis found them eligible to have Israeli citizenship. So this is amazing project that began in the 80s. When we had to bring them through Sudan, they walk hundreds of kilometers from Ethiopia through Sudan in the 80s. And because we couldn't work with Ethiopia, and there in Sudan, Israeli airplane picked them up at night and bring them to Israel.
I mean, was there a lot of internal war or chaos in Sudan? For a long time until the South Sudan declared their independence a few years ago, right? Right.
Yes, but the Israeli soldiers, the Israeli army and secret services, they know how to do everything, even in war situation.
Okay, I mean that is it. Yeah, that is
anyone.
2,000. Wow, 2,000 Jews from.
In total, the last 20 years, we brought 130,000 new Jews from Ethiopia. Now, we think about the idea that there are Jews for many, many years when there was no phone, there was no television, and still they kept their belief. It's amazing.
Does it like Jewish history goes back to during the King Solomon? I'm just assuming.
Maybe this is what they say. I don't know.
Right.
I don't have any evidence.
Thank you. Wow, that's great. Ethiopia. Wow. As the world is.
If I may say, many important churches were involved in this project, that they help us financially and with prayers to bring those Jews back.
The world is kind of suffering now. America is trying to recover from the COVID, but more than about a year or so, the COVID has changed the whole world and the way of doing things and methodologies. But is there some changes that Jewish agency has to make to improve your mission during the COVID, or is there going to be any permanent changes from your mission statements or method of doing?
The first thing that I need to say that even the borders
Mm-hmm.
everywhere were closed. We were able in Israel and in other countries, we were able to bring the Jews back home even with the COVID. So we kept immigration and aliyah every day. So new immigrants came from France, from Ukraine, from Russia, from the US, and we put them in quarantine for 2 weeks, and then we host them in our absorption center. So this is amazing.
Oh, yes.
And beside that, we had to do some interviews by Zoom. But in general, we just kept doing our work without any change. Maybe you should learn from our prime minister that brought us the vaccination so fast. And we got 5 million, most of the countries already had the vaccine. So
that's I'm just learning that from you. I mean, we're so focused in United States, and we get seniors, get the immunization shots first, then who are older than 55, military, on and on. We're waiting for our turn, and but I'm just learning from you that most Israelites there are vaccinated. That's
most of the
actually
country.
that's impressive. This could be maybe a most important question to you. As many Korean Christians, actually, we do agree and share the same vision. Actually, your agency is doing, because we understand biblical standards and what prophecies are, and we would like to participate, be helpful some way in the near future. I'm talking to most Koreans here. And what message could you share, with Korean Christians, about your agency, and what role should we be taking? What kind of prayer that we could remember to give? I think that's probably the most important message that I could get from you. Please share that with us.
The most important thing to do is to pray. Pray that we have another 6 million Jews that are out there that didn't come.
Okay.
And many of them are in the US, many of them are in Latin America. There are some in other countries, in Europe, in Germany, and we need to bring them back. And this needs a lot of support. It's spiritual support, first of all, and also financial support, because to bring one Jew, it's around, seriously, it's around $5,000, including everything. And it's expensive, and to bring them from Latin America and to bring them from Ethiopia and give them place to live and teach them to work, and teach them the language. We are all doing all that. So we need prayers and we need support to bring and make Israel strong. If those people will come to Israel, Israel will be more strong and can lead the spiritual change that the world needs. Which God said that our role is to bring the light to everyone, and we need to do it. But for that, we need to be very strong and we need a lot of prayers.
Yes.
We are surrounding with so many enemies and so many wars, and it's not easy. So we need friends like the Christian in Korea that are so good to us. We need friends around us that will have us as their friend and will support us and will help us. And we are totally open to let everyone knows what we are doing, what is done with the money and what we're doing in general. Nothing is secret and everyone is most welcome to come and see by himself.
Great.
And when tourism will open, we hope that everyone will come here and visit. Your government,
Yes.
your government sent a delegation to the Jewish agency
Okay.
to study what we are doing with refugee from South Korea about the refugee from North Korea. So they were here in our building studying, and we helped them with some knowledge and information.
Yes, that's great. There are about 2.5 million Koreans in United States right now. There are over 7 million throughout the world where you especially with diaspora from Korea, but it's not that we need to go back to Korea, but our heart is for Korea. But we do make life here, like the United States and overseas Europe and Asia. But we all have same common goal where taking refugees from North Korea, and we hope the gospel will go into North Korea. We kind of have a very kind of similar goal here. That's long term. I personally and those who are watching this interview, we're like to have some chance to learn from your work in a long duration. Thank you very much for your time, and I hope you rest in a nice day. Okay, thank you.
We were able to bring the Jews back home even with the COVID.